What's up? Wow, that's filling up faster than normal. Hey guys, so as the title says, I'm still pretty sick, but I can't just lay and do nothing anymore. I'm going stir crazy. So figured I'd just go live since I haven't gone live. Thank you. I'm very proud of my beard. Slowly starting to feel a little better. The fatigue is still getting me, and I think I had some of the fever come back today because I had some chills. I'm not using my mic, so the normal beast that I have. So let me know how the sound is, guys. Hopefully it's still pretty good because it's just the phone's mic. So, howdy, I'm Celt. Cool. Thank you for letting me know about how the sound is working, because honestly that mic's great for videos, but the way this stand is, thank you Lele PNGI. I'm glad you guys like the videos. Wow, I think this is the most I've ever had in a live. Granted, I don't go live often. I really don't have a lot of time to go live, unfortunately. So the few times that I do go live, I do these as an ask me almost anything. There's certain stuff that I won't talk about, personal stuff mostly, but whatever you guys want to talk about is what we'll do in the live. See how you guys, oh, thanks for the crown. That's kind of cool. That's awesome. I've never had that's, like I said, I think the last time I went live was like 9 months ago, almost 9 months, 10 months maybe. So there's a lot of new stuff with live that I've never experienced. I did go on a guest on somebody's lives about a month ago, but you guys let me know what you want to talk about. Ask away. Let's have some fun. If you could go to one more concert in your life, what would the lineup be? See, I'm a very big industrial person. Like Combi Christ, V&V Nation, things like that. So it would honestly, if you could think like Ozfest size. No, I'm sick, XOXO. I'm still sick. I got COVID. This is day 5. I think I'm vaxxed, but like it's still kicking my butt. Like fatigue and fevers. I'm on the antiviral. It's hit my girlfriend worse than it's hit me. About 2 days ago, her fever spiked to 106, but I'm still like petering out. Online precautions. I'm assuming that's what you were asking about, the online precautions that I take. If you kind of notice, all my videos look the same. I don't talk about my offline persona a lot. I don't talk about that. There's very few videos that have like even my family members in it. And like I talk about my girlfriend a lot, but you always reference it's my girlfriend or the girlfriend. Things like that. Sorry, I try to keep up with the comments, but I do miss them a lot. So if I don't answer a question, feel free to ask it again. Don't spam it, but like if I've gone a while and not answered your question, feel free to put it back in chat. You always miss stuff like this if you've never actually hosted a live. Sometimes the chat just flies through. Sometimes it's pretty slow. But going back to like online precautions, most of the stuff that when you see me find somebody, it's nothing like hacking. It's nothing like that. It's using what they've put out there to kind of locate and find out who they are, the people making these threats and things like that. So, reality, the best precaution you can do is don't put that out there. Most of my mutuals, they still don't know a lot about me. And it's no offense to them. It's just my persona online is not something that I want to get into like personal stuff with. So, like Scotty Banks. I don't know who in here follows Scotty Banks. He's one of my best friends on TikTok. He has my phone number offline, but he still refers to me as Celt. That's how it is. USMC Angry Veteran. You know, he knows me as Celt. And these are people that I would trust to have in my home. But it just makes a little more cautious. Now, there are people online who know me. I mean, your TikTok starts getting over 100K. I'm approaching 300K. And I start getting text messages from real life friends, people that I served in the Army with. Like my Twitter, I got a text because of that, because I got retweeted by Bo of the Fifth Column. And me and him, you know, we're mutuals. I'd consider him a friend. Granted, we're online friends, but a guy that I served in Iraq with sent me a text going, "Is that you I saw on Bo's Twitter?" So you're going to get that. Sorry, guys, if I start coughing a lot, it's still having all of that stuff. It's still, like, cough drops don't even help. The new strain, like I saw somebody mention the new strain finally got named. What's up, AK? Hey, Bree. I did a home test. So I don't know what strain I have. Did a home test, called the VA. They got me up some Tylenol, ibuprofen, and that antiviral by Pfizer, that pill stuff, which it seems to work, but oh my God. Everything. Have you ever chewed like a Tylenol? That bitter taste from just chewing a Tylenol? That is 24/7 when you're on that. When you're on that antiviral, it is 24/7. Been tagging you on Twitter, emailing you about my run-in with Nazis. Okay, so if you've done it the last few days, I haven't checked a lot of my stuff outside of TikTok just because of feeling bad. I will get to it. If you send it to the email on my Beacons page, I'll be able to get to that pretty soon. I've done a few spoonfuls of honey, but the irony is the only honey that I have in the house right now is this sriracha infused honey, which is really interesting to take a spoonful of that to help with your cough. And like, I love it. It's great on certain things like chicken tenders. It's great, but it's this sriracha infused honey. And I'm a very much a spicy person. Like, I have bottles of just Carolina Reaper paste. My kids are very spicy people. My girlfriend's, she does okay with spice. Her kids do not do spice at all. Like, none. So my stepkids, they're very much like, I put cayenne pepper and garlic in one thing, and her middle child, my stepchild, goes, this is a little spicy. And I was like, it's like very little cayenne, just for that like little bit of heat, and garlic. But yeah, the only honey I have is sriracha honey. Thinks his mayo is spicy. I'll be honest, I cannot stand mayonnaise. I hate it. I do not like mayo. I don't put it on sandwiches, things like that. It's mayonnaise, mint, and cranberries. I don't eat them at all. I don't like them. Yeah. See, I don't mind ranch, but it depends on what it's being used on. Like, I don't put ranch on everything. There's certain things that I'll do. Like, really cheap pizza, like Little Caesars, I'll put ranch on it. Good, like, homemade pizzas, If you go out to an actual like pizza restaurant, I don't put ranch on that. I'll do the carrots and ranch as like a little snack, or celery and ranch, the crudité platter and stuff like that. But ranch doesn't go on everything. Not at all. Yeah, and I don't do ranch on salad. I don't do ranch on salad. I'm more of like an oil and vinegar style guy for salads. A nice vinegar, like an infused vinegar or infused. We have to buy goji. Jump. Sorry. We have to buy that brie from the Asian market in like the tub, because my kids will go through it. Anytime they make ramen, chicken, we use a ton of it. Like I cannot. It's okay. It's really weird to see people fanboy or fangirl. I don't even know what the weight of it is, brie. It's just the thing's like almost the size of my head. It's just huge. But we'll go through that pretty quick with my kids. Olive oil, pepper, and goat cheese, that's a good mix too. But ranch is not. Ranch goes on vegetables, but not on a salad, like dipping vegetables. To me, ranch is like a dip for that. My daughter does this good recipe with that red pepper paste, mirin, a few other things. She's 17, but anytime she wants it, we call it her name, spicy chicken. And she does this whole mix up with it, and it's amazing. Luckily, my kids learned to cook at a very young age. Jack, Jake, I'm in the same community, so there's a lot of strong support there. I am cis, but I am not het. I'm the B. So that's part of the reason why there's a strong support for that. Yeah, there's a few videos on it, talking about it. Oh, thank you. Hand hearts, that's awesome. What's up, Indigenous Flex? How are you, brother? But there are a few videos talking about it. I am bi. I'm in a heterosexual relationship, monogamous heterosexual relationship, but I'm still a bi man. Smoke 3 heads of cabbage and chicken, some cherry and pecan wood. See, I got to get my smoker going. What's up? What's up, Rational? Even though I know some of you guys' real names, I'm not going to use them in here unless you guys want them used. But I got to get my smoker going. It's this nice little one. I haven't smoked anything yet. Oh, no problem, Jake. Is it Jake or Jack? I'm assuming Jake just because of reading it. But like I said, things are scrolling for me so much that I'm catching part of the comments. And like I said, I'm a little off today because of being sick. Thank you. Being sick makes me... I hate it. If it wasn't COVID, I would joke and say, yes, it is the man flu. I am amazingly a big baby when I'm sick. And that's how I feel right now. But like I said, I was just too bored to not be able to do something. And you hear me rambling. So it's a lot easier for me to ramble than to think about what I want to do in a video and get it coherent enough to understand in a minute to 3 minutes. I have 10-minute videos, but I don't know if I'm going to do 10-minute videos on TikTok. Yeah. I don't know. If I actually did 10-minute videos, would you guys watch them on TikTok? It doesn't even make sense to me to do 10-minute videos on TikTok. Granted, I don't even really do my videos on YouTube like I should. Sorry, nicotine pouches. No, I haven't watched The Northman. I'm gonna be honest. I don't watch a lot of TV anymore. I have a few comfort shows that I watch, and I'm not really big on movies. My girlfriend loves watching movies, and she'll pick something out and put it on, and I don't have the attention span for it. I'll do it because I enjoy spending time with her. My symptoms they're better. They're better, but like today was a weird hit. I started feeling a lot better yesterday. Like, you ever notice those times when you're sick and you've done nothing and you want to go do something? Like, I had thoughts of, like, I should go to the gym. I don't even have a gym membership. I think I've just been sitting in this house for so long that I want to do something. Then it's like, I should go mow the grass. No, I'm sick. I need to rest for a day or two. Monday or Tuesday, I'll go out and do that. And then today, I feel like I've been hit with a Mack truck. Mostly like fatigue and like neck aches and back aches, body aches. So, yeah. Symptoms are better, but still not good. Hold on, let me see something. Have I done this? There. I don't even know if I have moderators anymore. There, now I do. Yeah, and that was my worry, Rational, was that I was going to try to get on my feet too early. Like, I'm supposed to go back to work tomorrow, and I'll be honest, I don't know if I'm going to. I may take the day still. I've taken off. I worked Tuesday, and I've taken off since then. But, give the wife a heads up, I may. Because she's going to ask how my symptoms are. That I still may not work tomorrow. Yeah, Bree, I made you a moderator. What's up, Ron? Oh, yeah, Kat, I'm sorry about the long COVID. This is my second time getting COVID. Jake, that is not a question for me. I have no idea how I managed to get my girlfriend now, and I have 2 divorces. I'm not the person to give relationship advice, like, at all. Like, that's not a thing for me to be able to do. You don't want my advice on relationships. You want to talk about terrorism, I'll help you out with that. Love, I don't know how she puts up with me. I really have no idea how she puts up with me. Yeah. I'll be honest, me and my girlfriend kind of just came into a relationship. We both, like, our kids were both in Scouts, and we both were going through a divorce. Like, I had split with my second wife. She had split with her first husband. And, like, next thing you know, we're dating. It's really how it happened. So, like I said, 2 divorces, though. I'm surprised that she stayed with me as long as she has. Pretty much, that's, she puts up with my mess because I put up with hers. But, yeah. Oh, dude, ginger bearded guys, we're one pretty much hive mind. It's great. Love it. So, like I said before, I run these kind of Yes, I do have COVID. Um, Me and the girlfriend both got it at the same time. It's, yeah, kicking my ass. But no, I run these as a kind of a ask me almost anything. Pretty much run until I can't. I can't do it anymore, or until my phone dies. So feel free to ask questions, guys. I don't know what video to make today because there's so much shit going on with the world. Um, so I spent a lot of time last night because the antiviral makes it hard for me to sleep. Reading the Buffalo Manifesto, and holy crap! So there's a few things about it that pop out, and especially with how the news is covering the Buffalo Manifesto, especially when you get on things like Twitter and they start talking about the Great Replacement conspiracy theory. And the one thing that I'm really disliking with how the news covers this right now is they're acting like this Great Replacement conspiracy theory is new. They've started acting like it's this new concept. I've seen a few people linking it to QAnon and things like that. And what people need to understand is when you start talking about what that shooter believed, what Tucker Carlson talks about on there, about the Great Replacement, that is not new in any way whatsoever. That is one of the cornerstone of white supremacist extremism. The concept of that immigration policies, multiculturalism, and all that, they believe it is a white genocide. And that has existed long before even I'm alive. That is one of the main core tenets of their beliefs. So it's not this new concept. It's come out of the shadows that a lot of people have thought about. And it's getting more highlight with talking about like Tucker Carlson and the other Fox News and OAN and Newsmax and all of them pushing it, and these politicians pushing it. But that is a core belief of right-wing white supremacy, white nationalism, extremism. That's the idea. And then you start seeing it manifested. And when you start noticing that, you will start seeing how that manifests in our politics. Look at the opinion put out on Roe v. Wade, domestic supply of infants for adoption. That's based on that white supremacist Great Replacement theory, that they feel that anything like that is slowing the white birth rate or is allowing non-white people into the country, that is their cornerstone. So when you see the media reporting that these white supremacists are following this, it's not new. That's a key takeaway. But it's basically, they put a new name to it. And I don't know how I feel about somebody who studies extremism and studies conspiracy theories. I don't know how I feel about people labeling it a conspiracy theory. To be honest, I'm very, very conflicted on that one because it fits all the requirements of a conspiracy theory. But it's deeper than a conspiracy theory in these extremist circles. Because this is sometimes, like I said, the COVID brain is making this hard to put into words. And this is something I really wanted to do a video on today, but I don't know if I can get it down to a minute with the medicine messing with. The other issue with the Buffalo shooting and how the media is reporting it. You're going to hear terms, and this is another video I wanted to make today, but I'll do it in my live. I might make a video on it later. You're going to hear terms called the lone wolf extremist, lone wolf terrorist, or just lone wolf. And that is a valid term that we use within counter-extremism and counter-terrorism circles. We will label something a lone wolf. How the media has put this out and how people use this to spin the lone wolf concept is they use the idea of a lone wolf was a loner. He had no friends. Think of the old stereotype that people associated with Columbine. You know, he was this person sitting in a basement typing away on a keyboard. And they use it to minimize the fact that it was a domestic terrorism attack and a hate crime, and that there's an issue. They talk about the lone wolf as just one person, and it's an isolated incident. Within counterterrorism and intelligence community circles, when we reference a lone wolf, we're talking about someone who is self-radicalized, someone who has read the propaganda, has chatted with people, and has come to the conclusion that they need to do this attack for the cause, but they've never necessarily had direct contact with an extremist organization. And to be honest, as someone who studies extremism and terrorism, the lone wolf will scare the shit out of you. That is our fear. If I have someone that is communicating with and receiving training from a domestic terrorism organization or an international terrorism organization, or they're going to and meeting with one of these groups, and they're receiving briefing, support, finance, training, things like that, you can track them. So when you have that lone wolf who has looked at stuff, they have found this propaganda on their own. They either by accident or they've pursued it, or someone may have slipped them a little bit and they went to it. That is so much scarier to us because it shows how much deeper a problem there actually is. While you have these talking heads on TV, political, people like conservative politicians, and newspapers trying to make it seem like it's an isolated incident, the lone wolf for us, when we study this, shows us how big the problem is. Because the point of that propaganda is to create that lone wolf attacker. And the fact that it is working is scary as shit. Sorry, catch my breath for a second. So, all right, but you get these people, when we see these lone wolf attacks, we see that those extremist groups, the extremist organizations, it is scary for us because it shows that what they are trying to do is working. That is the point of those propagandas. That is the point of people like Tucker Carlson talking about the Great Replacement. That is the point of those threads that you see on 4chan and 8chan and 8com and all those places, those Telegram channels. That is what they want. So when you see news articles start talking about the lone wolf and trying to make it isolated, realize that someone like me who studies this used the term lone wolf to describe him, and we meant it that it should be a worrisome part. And they're going to twist it to try to make it seem like this is just an isolated thing. Lone wolf attacks are symptomatic of a bigger issue. A much bigger issue. Bree, what do you mean? In real life or online? Like, are you talking about looking out for if you're at a store in case like a Buffalo thing happens? Yeah, or are you talking about like the propaganda that they put online? Melissa, they're already more common than you think. Just some of them don't get news coverage. They're a lot more common. The majority of terroristic attacks in the United States since 1994 have been white right-wing extremists. Tons of them. Emily, I honestly don't have count. See, that's the problem, Bree, is signifying other lone wolves is difficult as fuck. It is extremely difficult, even for us, how to identify. I'll get to you in a second with that, John. The lone wolf, because all they're doing is looking at stuff online, or they're chatting in chat rooms, and they're not communicating with known actors. So the black background, the dark background like this, the only light in the room I'm in right now is this ring light right here. And there's a black curtain behind me. That's it. All the other, the area I'm in right now has fluorescent lights in the ceiling. And I turn those off. The only light in here is what little's coming off the phone and the ring light. And then I have a black sheet that I hung up behind me because behind me the view looked like crap. So there's a lot of different organizations do different rules for what they classify as a mass shooting. Usually the kind of a gold standard is a shooting that involves 3 or more victims is classified as a mass shooting. But that brings me into something else I wanted to make a video about for a while, is terminology and the different levels of stuff and how we can describe things. So like Buffalo, it is a terrorist attack, it's a hate crime, and it's a mass shooting. So, because there's a lot of fighting about things like this, and the biggest ones is people refusing to call it what it is, a terrorist attack. But it is all 3. Because of how, sorry, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to explain it with COVID brain. Oh yeah. Low power on the watch. And that wasn't necessarily the beginning of why I set up my filming like this. I have kids. I needed a quiet place to film. And this is how it's kind of worked out best for me to set up this area. This used to be my little office area anyway, until I moved that to a different place. And then this has become like my little gaming rig anyway. So I film where I game, and I just put that in a quiet place. Any precautions for POC or other marginalized people we can take when we're out and about? The biggest is, so for me, to give you a little background, former Army, former defense contractor, former Department of Defense civilian. I focus on human and counter extremism, and some things I learned from that. I don't play on my phone while I'm out. Like, my phone is rarely in my hand while I'm out. If it has a shopping list or something on it, but it's look at shopping list, put phone down, grab item. I'm always looking around. If I do need to get in contact with someone, it's send text or make a quick call so that I know what's going on around me. I am that annoying white boy who will look you in the eyes and greet you every single time, even if it's just head nod. For the reason is I want to look at every single person in the room. I want to know where every single person is. Part of this is PTSD. I'll be honest. There's still ways that I sit in restaurants. And still have some issues going out and about. But I know where everyone is around me. I keep a mental note of when I'm going to a bigger store, especially Walmart. The turns that I took to get from the entrance of the store to where I am. That may not be the best route out if something happens, but it will let me know a way out. And I can extrapolate from that. And I purposely go where I go into a store with a purpose. I know what I want. There's occasionally I go through and we're going to look, but I have a general idea of what I'm going to do in a store. That way I go in, I'm not having to expend mental energy thinking of what I need to do. I just do it, and I can use my other mental energy to focus on what is going on. Now, about every other day life. Going to work, I mostly, I work from home mostly right now. We're still on COVID restrictions due to my girlfriend's health. I stay home. But when I go through to work, I always learn 3 to 4 routes to work. Period. And I alternate. Even if you don't alternate, learning these additional routes will let you know get you in the habit of learning different ways in and out of situations. If you know how to get to, your city a little better. If something's going on and you need to get out of the area, something could prevent you from the way that you always know about. So learn that. Even if you don't rotate every day, learn 3 or 4 routes to the place that you go to. You got to think about the adding in the dice to make it truly random like that. Yes, and there's all those different things about having things on your phone that will send an alert. My kids, there's a gas station not too far. They love walking down to it. They carry mace and they carry this pull alarm. One of those, you pull it and it makes a really not loud, like screeching sound, until you plug it back in. That is mostly because, if you yell rape, fire, if you yell, things like that, no one's going to listen. It's kind of like we've gotten so conditioned with the car alarm. PC Tarot, I love the suggestions you're giving. Keep it up. Those are great. Family Kite. I got to remember the other one. But like if you all have an iPhone, or if you have an Android, turn on Find My Phone for the entire family. Thank you for the roses. My family, we all have it, so that even the ones who are on Android, I have Find My Phone for theirs. Life 360, Rational is a good one. All those things. So that I can pull up and see. Like the room I'm in, I don't know what's going on in the rest of the house. And my mother-in-law lives in a mother-in-law suite. And my girlfriend, was talking to her. And just for a little simple stuff, I went back up. I saw that, my girlfriend was no longer in the house. The kids were there, were in the house, they're gone too. So just quickly pulled it up. Oh, they're still all on the property. And then I can just send a quick text. Hey, you down at your mom's? Yeah, I'm down at my mom's. Cool. Boom. I know what's going on with my family. It's not even to spy. Like my girlfriend can see where I am. And we do text and stuff. Like if I go somewhere, I'll be honest, I don't always remember. That's why it's good to have it on the phone. But get in the habit of when you go to Walmart, texting your significant other, your friend, hey, I made it. Hey, I'm leaving. Things like that. Because one of the things that first responders have an issue with is finding out who's in and where people are. But if you've kept your family in the loop, just when you get to Walmart, send a text. Hey, I'm here. When you're about to leave, send a text. Hey, I'm leaving. It's annoying. I make a joke with my girlfriend about it. Yes, Mom, every time she asks me to do it. But it serves a purpose. If something happens, she now knows where to look. Had I left Walmart yet? Even if I lose my phone and the Find My Phone's not working, she knows I've left the store. Something happened in that store, I've left it. Or something has happened in that store and I'm not there. This one's going to be controversial for some people. Unless you need your ringer on your phone, turn your phone ringer off. Keep it off. I never turn the phone ringer on my phone unless I know something is going on. I do have an Apple Watch, so it's a little easier for me because my wrist will vibrate if I get a text or something. But the reason I say this is if you are in a mass casualty event and you are having to hide, as soon as it hits the news, your friends and family are going to start calling you. You are hiding behind an aisle in Walmart. I'm just going to keep using Walmart. You do not want that phone going off. You do not want it making audible sound. My phone ringer stays always off. There is nothing that important that I need my ringer on for. Seems weird, but you start thinking of little weird things. Yeah, it's off. Because in the event that you do have to hide, you don't want your means of communication with the outside world that could give you safety, you don't want it giving you away. Yep, I'm drinking the purple Rip It. Dude, I moved from a gas station to a house that has like a gas station about 2 miles down the road that sells Rip Its. And it has been the worst thing for me because I used to have to go to Dollar Tree to get them. And, like every notification except texts and emails and phone calls are off on my phone. If I did not have the notifications off, the amount of notifications I get on TikTok daily would destroy me. It would just, yeah. See, they don't have all the flavors at this gas station. They have that green camo one. They have the sugar-free citrus. And I'll be honest, I burned out on the sugar-free citrus in Iraq. You know, used to grab them by the case. I burned out on those. They do have Atomic Palm occasionally. They have that weird black and green one now, which I really actually like. But they don't always have that one. So, and they have that orange camo one that tastes like an orange creamsicles. What's up, Commie Trucker? So a Rip It is the official drink of war. Yes, this is the official drink of war. We used to, when those of us who've been to Iraq or Afghanistan, you get them in a little 8-ounce can. They used to give them to us. They would bring in pallets. And usually we were stuck with a few flavors. Like I used to take the red one and mix it with a red Gatorade. And you just, if you see someone drinking a Rip It, chances are they're a veteran. Just because we've experienced it so much. I had 4 years in Iraq. And the saying was there's 24 Rip Its in a case, 24 hours in the day. So it's basically just an energy drink. They used to be 99 cents. They're now $1.25. So I love it. Absolutely. And at this point, to be honest, it's the price. You tell me that a monster is $3 to $4, and a Rip It is $1.25, and it comes in more flavors. Thank you, Trucker. Love you too, brother. Yeah, the veteran thing is, there's times I love what I get as a veteran. I'm very lucky. I have a very good VA in my area. No. They changed the can to $1.25. They actually changed the can. The company went up in price, but going to the veteran thing is, I got a very good VA in my area, so I'm lucky for that. I'm still fighting the VA about my disability rating. They got me at 60. They denied a whole bunch of stuff. I do have an attorney. I was just covering a story about Milo. Which ring? I got two on. The Mason ring or that ring? Yeah, brother. I figured it was the Mason one. Yeah, I had Riveter. I had a VSO. Unfortunately, I let one of my appeals lapse because I didn't think I could fight it anymore. I'd submitted almost everything I had, and I managed to talk to a attorney that is willing to take on the case. I'm waiting on the VA to give me my denial letter. Yeah, one of the reasons, Trucker, one of the reasons why I'm a big supporter of single payer healthcare is, I don't know if you've caught the news that me and my girlfriend both have COVID, and looking at the differences of, like, I have free treatment from the VA, and literally I made a phone call. Like, I took the little home test. I got a positive result. I made a phone call. I left a message with my nurse. She talked to my doctor. They called me in the meds I need, and it was done. I mean, it took a few hours. And this was just ridiculous. My girlfriend's uninsured. She has a doctor. We pay cash. And they looked at her and said, okay, well, you need this medicine, the COVID antiviral, especially because she's really high risk. And they said it's going to cost her $15 to call in the prescription for the COVID antiviral. A free medication. Like, we went to the drugstore, it was free. She had to pay $15 for them to send a fax. For them to send a fax saying, hey, this person needs this free antiviral. That was great. Granted, it could have been a lot worse, but it was still just that idea of, I made a phone call, I called my doctor, and my doctor goes, oh, you have a positive test? Cool, yeah, you should probably take this. And I got Tylenol and ibuprofen for free. Stuff I could get from a drugstore, but if I called the VA and I said, hey, I need some Tylenol and ibuprofen, I have COVID, they call it in and it's free. Yeah. Oh, they still would have charged her they still would have charged her $15 if it was a phone call or even the little computer system. For them to send in any prescription without a doctor's visit, it's $15. The doctor had to do nothing. The doctor who has seen my girlfriend since she had her kid has delivered all three of my girlfriend's kids. My oldest stepchild is 22. So my girlfriend has been going to this doctor the majority of her adult life. And they said, boom, $15 to send it. The VA, I made a phone call. And boom, and I got it for free. I mean, I can break a hip and get a hip replacement, and it's going to be free. But we have to worry about it. For me, who's, I have some disabilities from my time in the service. I'm not in the best shape in the world. And My girlfriend, who has multiple autoimmune issues, sees a doctor literally every week, can't get health insurance. We pay out of pocket for everything. That's how broken our system is. It's ridiculous. Single payer healthcare would be amazing. I mean, every other civilized country in the world has it. My girlfriend got turned down twice for Medicaid. We tried. My kids got it. Twice. Twice they denied her. One time they denied her because her 16-year-old child had bought a car, ended up having to sell it because there were some issues with it, had the money sitting in her account. And since my girlfriend's name is on the bank account, they denied her for resources because my 16-year-old had saved money to buy a car at 16. My girlfriend can't have Medicaid because she's over the resource limit for Medicaid. Yeah, even though that's how it's sold, it's kind of demoralizing. Every other country in the world has an amazing setup. But every day I get further to carrying a hammer and a sickle because of what I see going on. So I don't say where I am. Unfortunately, I don't answer a lot of personal questions about where I am and things like that. I am in the United States. Even though all the conservatives think I'm in Canada. Yeah. The last conservative who tried to find me claimed that I was in Canada. Yeah, I will say my state sucks for... Yeah, so, Riveter, you were around for this one. It was right after the Rittenhouse verdict, and I mentioned that I'm a certified firearms instructor. I don't really teach a lot at this point anymore. So the conservative side of TikTok lost their collective mind when I was like, I disagreed with the verdict and I was a firearm instructor. So I had one firearms instructor, he may be, who claimed to be a government contractor, attempt to track me down. Well, one of the precautions I take because of the type of stuff that I do is I have created a whole bunch of different, I call them breadcrumbs, that I've put online. And one of them was a LinkedIn profile. It was just titled Big Red Celt. It had my profile picture, my old one, you know, before I put on the beanie, because I don't feel like dealing with the hair. And I set it to, I think, Ontario, Canada, is the location for that one. And out of everything that I put out there on there, that's the only thing they could find. And they started claiming that, you know, there was no way I was a veteran because, you know, how could you be an American veteran and live in Canada? So that was great. It was really fun because it lets me know when people are actually looking, because they start going out and they find this stuff that I've put out purposefully, and then they run with it like instantly. Like it didn't really blow up or anything. It was in this small like circle of people. Come to find out, the guy may have been a government contractor, if he worked in lawn care for the government, because that's what he did. He worked for his brother's lawn care thing. He loved to shoot. That's fine. But constant, like, come into my live. I will be honest, you will never see me do a TikTok live debate. I think they're pointless. They're useless, and I think they do more harm than good. The people who do them, great. That they're more than welcome to. You'll never see me, but I get conservatives all the time telling me to come into their TikTok live and they want to debate me on live or to discuss it. You'll never see me do it. Hell, I think this is the first time I've gone live in 9-10 months. It's old enough that I don't even have any saved lives in the TikTok account. Yeah, it's not. It's not worth my energy. And in reality, no matter what happens in the live, both me and the other person are going to walk away thinking we won the debate. Both people are going to take the live and cut it up into little sound bites and make TikTok content out of it for however long they can, claiming that they owned the other person. Excuse me. Ooh. That's another problem with the medication. So you may hear me burp a lot. But the bitter taste is just the worst. And now there's some people I enjoy watching debate. Like Rational, he's a good one to watch if you want to watch him. And he's right, it doesn't change anything, but if you enjoy doing them, I harbor no ill will about them. I'm not going to ever get on to anybody about doing them. I'm just not going to do them. Like, my dude does some. He's great. Yep, Riveter, I was just about to mention him. Things like that. And Karen does some. They're great. Lethal Lex, she does less debates that I've noticed. But if you ever get a chance to catch a Lethal Lex debate, especially her ally training, not debates, lives, especially her ally training lives, they're amazing, very educational. It's just perfect. So why is Masonry male only? It's a fraternity. As simple as that. It's a fraternity. As Melissa mentions, we do have Eastern Star. There's Eastern Star, there's Amaranth Court. Eastern Star and Amaranth Court both are for women or allow women. I don't know how to really phrase it because it's not necessarily allow, but Eastern Star is more for women. Amaranth, especially in my area, Amaranth Court is a lot more like couples. So you get a lot of, a Mason and Eastern Star will both, they'll be in a relationship and they will attend to Amaranth Court together. And then you have Demole for boys, under 18, who are interested in Masonry. And then you have Rainbow Girls and Job's Daughters for girls. And I'm sure there's others. But yeah, the biggest reason Masonry is male only is it's a fraternity. That's as simple as that. The one thing I will say is, even though Masonry is male only, our spouses and our family are very much a large part of it. So, Kat, we're supposed to be. To be honest, there's especially some dark-tainted history of Masonry, where Masonry was not anti-racist. And that is one of the reasons why we have Prince Hall Masonry, because at a period in time, Masons turned away a whole bunch of people of color, simply for being people of color. And a man named Prince Hall founded Prince Hall Masonry. And yeah, never should have did that because it goes completely against the teachings of Masonry. But humans are humans, and a lot of humans are pieces of shit. But you will find Masons who are racist. I hate to say it. And yeah, it's not what we teach within Masonry. So Masonry itself, if you actually follow the teachings of Masonry, you should be anti-racist. Some people are in name only. I'll never say Masonry is a perfect organization because it's made up of humans. Yeah, you'll find And you'll find people who wear the same ring as me, very much anti-LGBTQIA. But you shouldn't be. According to the teachings of our organization, you shouldn't be anti that. You shouldn't be anti anything. But kind of like humans and racists ruin everything. And yeah, we could definitely do a much better job of weeding them out. I am very fortunate that I found a lodge that is very anti-racist. My particular lodge, but you'll go to lodges and we call it traveling, where you go to a different lodge. I don't do that a lot, just because I sometimes struggle to even go to my own lodge. But I would, if I went to a lodge and I felt anything like that, I would leave. Yeah, I'm a Mason. Yeah, hoodie, I'm a Mason. But what other questions you guys got? It's an Ask Me Almost Anything live, guys. Well, almost lost my voice there for a second. After. I joined the Masons after the Army. I had a curiosity of Masonry when I went into the Army, and then I met a bunch of Masons in the Army, and that's when I decided to join. And then when I first came home, I still didn't join. I ended up by chance running into a Mason and finally just asked, and that's what you're supposed to do to join, is just ask. How did I get into Humant? That was really weird, how I got into it. So I went to join the Army when my first wife was pregnant with our first child. I was doing computer security and tech support and things like that, and I always thought I was going to be a programmer. And I have some basic skill in it now. I've been out of that for so long now, I haven't caught up. I would suck at it. So I went to join the Army because she was pregnant. I was making enough to support me and her, but you add a third mouth in and it wasn't going to work. So I went into the recruiter's office and I wanted to go into communications. So of course, the big recruiter's office, they're showing you all the videos and the cool stuff, like, when you say communications, they start showing you videos of people like low crawling with spindles of wire underneath barbed wire, and they're hooking up telephone lines while stuff's blowing up around them. And I'm like, okay, that looks cool, but what does that have to do with communications? Because communications was the idea of like technology. And then they showed me SIGINT, which is in communications, but it's signal intelligence. And they sent me Cryptolinguist was the video they showed. And they were like, you know what, hey, you can join the Army and we'll send you to this special school and you'll learn how to speak a foreign language. And I was like, well, that's fucking badass. I can go to a school, like a college, under the Army's dime and learn how to speak a language. And I was like, I want that. Because I wanted the language. That's what I wanted to do. So I go to MEPS, and they start telling me, well, you can't do SIGINT. We're not hiring any more SIGINT. This was like mid-2004. We're not taking any more SIGINT. And I said, okay, cool. Well, and I'm already in MEPS. Like, I've already gone through... I've already had to do that stupid duck walk. The doctor had to look at my butthole, ask a veteran. Yep, it's weird. I was like, well, what jobs can I get? And they were like, okay, well, we can give you intel analyst. Okay, well, that sounds boring. We can give you counter intel. Okay, what's that? Now, granted, if he had explained it to me, I may have gone counter intel. And because the MEPS recruiter had no idea what it was. He goes, well, it's counter, so I guess it's the opposite of intel, so I guess it's propaganda. In reality, that's psyops. I was like, I don't want to do that. Oh, I was 20 when I enlisted. I was in my 20s. No, I just turned 21. I turned 22 in basic. So I was like, I don't want to do that. And they were like, well, we'll give you human. What's that? Human intelligence. And I was like, well, what's that? And they were like, oh, you interrogate people. And my response literally was, so you mean I get to learn a foreign language and then yell at people in it? Sign me up. So they make me take this test called the D-Lab. It's the Defense Language Aptitude Battery or something like that. It's basically to measure your ability to learn a foreign language. And I sucked. And I absolutely sucked at it. I scored below what I was supposed to score to be able to get the job. And they were like, okay, well, you can't have this job because you're not qualified to learn a foreign language. Okay, well, then I'm not enlisting, was my response. I'm not going to enlist. I'm going to leave. I'm going to pack my stuff and, you guys can put me back on the bus and send me back home. I'm not signing up today. And they're like, no. So they give me a waiver. So I join, go to Fort Sill for basic training, go to Fort Huachuca for human intelligence school. Then you find out that it's a lot more than just interrogations, a lot more. And then I go to Monterey, California, and they teach me Spanish. And I end up going to, was supposed to go to jump school because that was in contract. I ended up getting messed up in Monterey and have to have surgery. So my jump school gets canceled. I get dropped out of Spanish because at that point I've missed too much because of my surgery. They still label me a linguist. And I had a basic understanding of it. And one of those, I didn't get my wings. I ended up getting put on a P2, no run profile. But still ran, just you can't go to jump school on that. I elected to take the profile instead of getting medically discharged. And then I get sent to Fort Bragg, and I was a humanter. And I deployed from there. I got a really awesome gig when I got deployed, where I got to be pulled out of my unit and put on a special assignment. And that opened up a new world for me. Yeah, the military, while it's not amazing, it can be useful for some people. There's a lot that needs to be changed, and there's unfortunately a lot that's because of the military is the reason we don't have certain policies. Like student loan forgiveness is because of the military. The reason we're having such a struggle getting them to forgive student loan debt or to get universal education where education is free is because it is a recruiting aid for the military. To be honest, I was one of the military could survive without predatory recruitment tactics, but they won't because it's easier. So the reason why pushes for universal health care, that is an issue because of the military. Because of you want to join, you want free health care, join the military. If you want, free college, join the military. Okay. You could still recruit without that. To be honest, I didn't join just because of a pregnant wife. That's one of the reasons why I picked it. I had another chance, and I went with the military instead. I had a very high tech support, computer, in the computer science field, job offer at the same time. When I would have left my little contracting company that was doing tech support and stuff through that, the parent company that we were contracted under offered me a position. It was something like, this was back in 2004, like $70,000 a year. I could have taken that. The education and the healthcare part was not part of it. The benefits plan, and they were going to pay for me to go to school. I still were recruited. We still could recruit military service members without those draws. But they have to do more work for it. They have to incentivize it more. And there's other ways that they could incentivize it without fucking over the entire country. But they won't. As I told my kids, if you want to go military, great. It's not for everyone. It changed my life, to be honest. I don't know what type of dad I would have been if I hadn't joined. Because I was very much I was content doing the basics. And I had a lot of issues in the military. It did straighten me out. It was a good choice for me. For a lot of people, it's not a good choice. Not at all. And it shouldn't have to be their only choice to better themselves through education or healthcare. Because, get this, not even every veteran gets healthcare after they get out. Not every veteran is able to use the VA. Just because you serve does not mean you get VA service. And especially even the ones who do get VA service, it's not always free. Mine's free because of my disability rating. Before that, yeah, I had a copay. It wasn't bad. But I have friends who are veterans that either their rating is not high enough, they don't have a rating at all, or they make too much money to go to the VA. So they served. They don't get to use the same benefits as me. Did you also know there's a time limit on the GI Bill? If you don't use it in a certain amount of time when you get out, it goes away. It's gone. You lost it. Oh yeah. And that's one of the reasons why it's so hard to prove some of our disabilities. Because the entire time you're in, you're told don't go to sick call. Don't see the doc about it. Take Motrin. Drink water. So it's not documented in your medical records. And then you file for disability about it. And they go, oop, not service connected. You didn't see a doc when you were in. But you were told, yes, you can use the GI Bill, Bree. The old Montgomery GI Bill, you had 10 years to use it from the date you got out of service. The new post 9/11, you have 15, I think. So if you don't get out and pretty much immediately use it, you risk losing it. I have friends who lost their GI Bill. Yeah, I got out fully in 2009. So if you think about it, 2024, if I hadn't used my GI Bill, then they take it away. So the GI Bill is how, when they say join the military for free college, that is what the program that gives us free college when we get out. The Montgomery GI Bill used to pay a flat rate. Yes, Left-Handed Path, my last video has got quite a few OPs from Sons of Anarchy comments. I usually get Ragnar from Vikings, but especially since I started doing the beanie and the rings. Granted, the rings I always wear, even outside. What's up, Joe? But yeah, if you don't use the GI Bill in a certain amount of time or transfer it to your children, if you qualify to transfer it to your children, because not everybody qualifies to transfer the GI Bill to their children, it goes away. So you have a lot of people who go into the military, get out, for some reason are not able to go to college. PTSD, homelessness, needing to work to support your family. Because, I got out in 2009 and I had 3 kids. I had to go right back to work. And, so I couldn't use it immediately. I did eventually end up using it. But imagine if I hadn't been able to use it because I had to work to support my kids. It just goes away. So it's always a fun time. So there's a lot more that we could definitely do with in support of our military and our veterans. And at the same time, make it so they stop using us as political pawns. Because that's the next part that pisses me off. The fact that many politicians will use us as a flag to wave as a rallying cry for whatever little cause that they want, usually as a way to shit on another cause. See ya, individual one. Well, they will wave veterans as, why are we not supporting veterans? Why are we supporting immigrants? Why are we supporting refugees? And then vote against shit to help veterans. They just wave us a flag as a way to crap on somebody else. So that is one of the biggest things, especially if you go on my Twitter. I haven't done it as much recently, but that's one of the biggest things that I will yell at politicians for is stop using veterans like me as a flag. Like Riveter did, or Big Joe Berserk in there. Stop using us as a flag. Yeah, and as soon as we question about it, we get told, oh, that we're either lying about our service or we didn't do anything while we're in, or told that we don't love our country because we complain about a politician using us to strike down a refugee program. See, irrational. But at the same time, that same politician, like look at Madison Cawthorn on Twitter the last few days, complaining about aid to Ukraine when we should help veterans. Instead, when he voted against programs and bills that would have helped veterans. So, yeah, anytime you see a politician talk, hey, Billy, thank you, Billy. Thank you for the roses. But when you see a politician talking about helping veterans over something else, check their voting record. More than likely, they voted against helping veterans. That's what they do. They vote against helping veterans. And then use us as a pawn. Oh, I feel like I gotta sneeze. It is rough being a progressive veteran because, especially with the old mentality that as a veteran you have to be conservative. Listening to drill sergeants talk about how Fox News was what needs to be playing in the TVs and the DFAC. And it's like, why? Yeah, definitely Control Alt Delete because these programs aren't working. And they haven't worked in a while. The biggest piss off is when you complain about a problem. Oh, thank you, Captain. when you can complain about a problem that's going on in our country, especially as a veteran, and get told that we're being unpatriotic, when they don't understand that one of the best ways that you can be patriotic is wanting to have your country be better. Patriotism is not accepting the fact that your country is broken. It is that we can be better. Like when they say, America's the greatest country on earth. Well, we should be. We're not. But that's the goal. That's what I want us to be, is the greatest country on earth. By, not killing innocent people. Not letting people fucking starve. We're the greatest country on earth, and look at our homeless population. Look at the amount of children who go hungry in this country. Why are we having a debate of whether or not children in school should get free lunch or not? I pay taxes. No child should go to school and not be able to get a lunch. What the fuck are my taxes for? I don't care how much the parent makes. I don't care if their parent is a damn multi-millionaire. If that child goes to a school, they should not pay for their food. Because then that means make sure that no child goes hungry. They should not pay for their breakfast at school. They should not pay for their lunch. The parent shouldn't have to fill out an application. That is patriotism. Wanting your country to do better and to take care of it. That's the point of me paying taxes. Thank you, Riveter. Free lunches, free breakfasts, and you know what? Screw it. Give them a bag of food to be able to take home. At the end of it, again, I don't care how much the parent makes. Damn, Riveter. We did it during the pandemic. We did it during the pandemic to the point where we even set up times for them to be able to come by and get food on the weekend. Over the summer, we can do it now. But we will still have people, and I will watch it. Occasionally, I'd still go on to Facebook. And you go on Facebook, and I will still see this talk about, school lunches, and people arguing that, parents should have to pay for it. I don't care if the parent pays for it. No kid in this country should go fucking hungry. Nice. Thanks, Bean. Yeah. Those school programs, they did around here too, Joe. They didn't fully drive around. They would go into different areas and they would park a bus and you could drive out there, and they put it into areas that are normally food deserts. Why are we now debating on, do we have enough money or not to do that? That is, so when I start talking about these things, I get told by conservatives, if I don't like it, go to this country. And of course they pull out the racist stereotype of, well, if you think it's bad here, look at Africa. Okay. Why? We can do it here. They can do it there. They do it there. So the fact that we as a school, as a population, and as a community have accepted the whole lunch shaming thing for kids. That a kid doesn't have enough, he or she's already got their food on their plate or their tray, and they take it away. Why? Why? Sorry, I just went off on a wild tangent. Yeah, and other countries aren't dealing with, we're supposedly the greatest country in the world and we have a formula shortage. And that's what they're trying to do is they are trying to pass the buck. They are trying to, it's like when you argue for LGBTQIA plus protections in this country, and you get told, look at the Middle East. What about it? What about it? I was a bisexual dude walking the streets of fucking Iraq. The Iraqi army that I worked with knew I was bisexual. Never once did they give a crap. Never once. But I get told to look at the Middle East. Okay. The Middle Eastern people that I know accept me for the fact that I'm a bisexual pagan. It's the white Christian conservative straight people that have a problem with me. All right. Give me another topic, guys, because I'm just going to keep going off on a rant. They should be. I pay taxes. Why does my neighbor have to pay for health care? Like, why? Joe, I completely agree. Especially if they want to advocate for politics and they want to advocate from the pulpit for a politician and not pay taxes. They should be taxed. PC, me and my children had that discussion recently because a lot of them, my youngest is turning 14 this month. And so the majority of them have already entered the workforce. About why do they pay taxes? And they don't get to vote. No, teens shouldn't have to pay taxes. I can understand the whole Social Security and Medicare taxes if that a little bit, because they're starting to build up their record for Social Security at that age. But income tax, no. So Lee, that would be, that's a very broad question, because paganism is a very broad term. It's not like Christianity where every person who would fall under the social, that doesn't fall under the term paganism. And even then there's a debate with a lot of people, excuse me, about what is paganism, what is not. Like I had a discussion in my younger days. I was really good friends with this guy who's Santorian, and he would come to pagan festivals, which were mostly like Wiccan. I'm personally a druid, so you'd have a few druids there, but a majority of people there were Wiccan or some form of witchcraft. And then the odd like druid, and then we would have like voodoo practitioners, Santorian practitioners that would come because it was the only thing in the area, and usually there were small groups of practitioners there. And me and him had the discussion of whether or not he considered himself pagan, and he didn't. He came to our festival because we were a very accepting festival. So when you ask like what's a good resource to study paganism, that's a very broad question that's really hard to answer because it depends on what you want to learn. Like if I were to offer stuff, it would be about Celtic Druidism. And even within Druidism, what a lot of people consider, a legitimate source of studying Druidism, a lot of people don't. Like when I was first studying, there was this big push for the 21 Lessons of Merlin, which was this book. And it's not a bad book. It didn't really answer anything. It was this big push, and then I started like hanging out with more people who practice druids from like ADF or OBOD, which are two organizations. ADF is more American Druidry, and then OBOD more centered in the UK, but there's a lot of OBOD members in the United States. And 21 Lessons of Merlin does not fit into their teachings on Druidry. And then, like, if you talk to ADF, Druidry is a religion and it has very strict rules, and they want, like, the rituals done this way. And then you talk to, like, Obod practitioners, and to them, to a lot of them, Druidry is a philosophy, not necessarily a religion. So, my time hanging out in Obod circles, by the way, I'm not a member of Obod, frankly, because to buy the membership, to be a member, you have to buy their training program, and when you convert it to American dollars, it's like $600 for the introductory course. And no, one, I don't have $600 to just blow on a training course. But when I hang out with a lot of them, I meet Christian Druids, and I'll be honest, to me, Druidism is my religion. So that's very weird, but I will never tell someone you can't do something in your own religion. If they believe themselves to be a Christian and a Druid, so be it. But to me, Druidism's not a philosophy. So, like, when I get a lot of people asking me for paganism resources, that's why I don't do a lot of pagan content. There's a lot of great people on this app who do pagan content. Unfortunately, I'm not one of them. My journey in paganism and Druidism is more personal. I bring it up just because it is part of who I am, but I am not the best teacher for it. If that makes sense, guys. That was a really weird one for me. When they tried to figure out what religion to put on my dog tags, so the official ones issued to me at reception just said other. Later, I went and because I even said, like, I'm Druid, and they were trying to look through the computer and find it, and I was like, pagan. What's up, J. Paul? And, it was really hard for them to, being I may, lives take a lot out of me, because also they're so long. To be honest, my kids aren't here because we tried to sequester them at my ex's house, so they wouldn't get COVID. She had already been exposed because before I started showing symptoms, she helps with the back and forth to schools and stuff. They ended up getting it. And my girlfriend is sick and basically passed out at this point. So it's really hard for me to sit and do lives a lot of times. So this is a moment of, like, I can't lay down anymore. I had to do something because it was starting to drive me nuts. But no, going back to the dog tags, to get Druid on my dog tags, I had to go off base once I got to Fort Bragg. J. Paul, she is rough. She's on the antiviral, but about 2 days ago, her fever spiked to 106, not 160, God, but it was 106. So I had to she packed herself down with ice packs and all that, and she had already taken the max amount of Tylenol she could. So basically, she spent the night rotating ice packs to keep her body temperature down. She's doing a little better today. She's still running about 102. See you, PC. Thanks for stopping in. She's running about 102, I think, today. 101, 102. And a lot of that, though, is her other health issues, that she's always running a fever, but the 106 one was kind of scary. It was really scary. So, that was fun. What's up, Dark Deacon? Thanks, brother. Love you, man. She has quite a few issues. I don't go into all of them. She's talked about she's let me mention a few of them, especially the osteomyelitis, because that's the most recent. Hope work's going for you good, brother. But no, you're fine, Riveter. I just, anytime I do a video, just so you guys know, because I do mention her and I do those horse-sized duck. I'd rather fight one horse-sized duck than 100 duck-sized horses. One-on-one, even the size. To be honest, the numbers, the 100's gonna whoop my ass. But anytime I do a video talking about like her health issues, I talk to her before I film it, and then she watches it before I post it. What's up, Angry? How you been? And there's a duck. How many different like little animation gifs do they have now? It's a lot, but thank you, Riveter. But yeah, definitely one horse-sized duck. When you start getting into like, you know, different like amounts of all those, it gets like 100 duck-sized horses. That's 100 things that have to beat. It's 100 different things attacking you at once. I don't see how anyone could think they could beat 100 of those. I mean, especially... Okay, that one's pretty cool. Thank you, Bean. But I don't see how anyone thinks they could beat 100 duck-sized horses. Especially if we're just talking like, you know, old school hand-to-hand fight. I mean, if I get a gun or even like a sword, okay, maybe. But yeah, no. So many puntables, but that's a lot of punting. That is a lot of punting. 100 of them is a lot. Absolute lot. Duck-sized BoJack Horseman. You can't laugh when you have COVID. You just can't. Because every laugh ends up turning into this cough. You can't do it. I can't. Oh, I think I'm logged into Insta on this computer, J. Paul. If not, the girlfriend's got the iPad. Oh. Let's see. See, the irony is normally I don't have an issue with laughing. But COVID just kind of killed the whole laughing part for me. Let's see. Because, Scotty, I could not lay on that couch. I could not. I couldn't. I was going nuts. Absolutely nuts. Alright guys, so I'm back. I had to fix something real quick. Sorry about that guys, I had to fix something. I start seeing everybody hopping back in. Gotta message something real quick. Give me 1 second, guys, and then we'll go back to talking. Tired, Zen. Very, very tired. Thanks, Jennifer. So, sorry, I had to fix something real quick, and it needed my phone, so I had to kill it real quick. I do talk to Road Rage quite often, actually. He's working on a special project that I wanted to join, but I couldn't. Nothing about between me and him, just I was unable to do it. Not bad. He's not doing bad at all. I rarely go live. I honestly, I think this is the first live in the last like 9-10 months. I used to go live a lot. Yeah, Zen, I'm recovering from COVID. But I rarely go. Just live it's hard. In fact, I'm probably only going to do like another 30 minutes. I'd been live pretty far before this, but I had to kill it to fix something. Thanks, Mr. J. Yeah, this is like day 5. Thank you, Bean. Day 5 of COVID. It's great. Yeah, the girlfriend's positive. Scotty, thank you, Zen. She got it. She got it. 2 out of the kids got it. They are nice. Lunar eclipse happening as we speak. Epic. Yeah, is it viewable through the U.S.? Like, where in the U.S.? No, I did not catch the meteor shower because I was passed out. Like, passed out. I usually wake up at like 6, 7, and thank you, Gray. I ended up, thank you, Mr. J. I think I slept till like 11 today. Granted, this antiviral makes it really hard to, like, I get angsty. Just the bitter taste, and like when I lay after been so long. Hold on. I am vexed. It's still kicking my ass though. Still this is still 100 times easier than it was when I got COVID before the vax even existed. I got COVID. I got COVID back in December 2020, before there was a vax. So, yeah, thank you, Bean. But that was rough. My girlfriend got it back then too. And unfortunately, she can't get vaxxed. Thank you, Jay. Her infectious disease doctor, all of them, they won't let her get it, because partly is you have to be a certain amount of time without running a fever, and her osteomyelitis constantly causes her to run fevers. Her average temperature at this point is like 101. So we really don't count anything like 101 down. She's running a fever because of the illness, but to her that at this point is normal, and it's been like that for almost a year. Once they finish getting all of that done, then hopefully she'll be better. I tried to dodge it. Thank you, Jay. And like I said, the first one, we were doing pretty good, but my kids go back and forth between mine and my ex, and my ex-wife's partner, he ended up getting it due to his job, and the kids ended up getting it the first time. This one, I'm pretty sure we went to my oldest child, my stepchild's college graduation, and 2 days later I have it. So I'm pretty sure that's where I got it, because thank you, Zen. I don't even really go out to buy groceries. We use Instacart. But you put that many people for a college graduation. Yeah, and luckily we sat in a different area than the rest of the family. Thank you, for the roses, Mr. J. Wow. But we sat in a different area than the rest of the family, so that we could get a different set of pictures, and they all didn't catch it. So it's wherever we sat, just so that we could do pictures. They sat facing the stage, we sat to the side of the stage, so that when she walked down, we could get, thank you, Mr. J, we could get like the pictures of her walking down the stage really close. And yeah. So I don't even know where we were before I had to end the last live, but like I said, they're asking me almost anything. Let's see what you guys got. Sorry. That's the worst part of the COVID is I already have like neck and back issues. Oh, thank you, Jennifer. I already have neck and back issues, and then the body aches. Yeah, did you hear the crack in that one? But then you add in like the tightness of the body aches. Fighting 100 duck-sized horses. Yes, that's where we were. But the neck and body aches added in with the already back issues, and my neck being a box of Rice Krispie treats to begin with. It's never fun. I'm glad you enjoy them, Mr. J. Thank you very much. The irony is, none of these type videos is what I initially started out on TikTok to do. Okay, that one's cool. Thank you, Zen. So back during the pandemic, my girlfriend encouraged me to join TikTok as a viewer. To like, there was funny videos on TikTok. So I signed up, and very quickly I ended up on drunken veteran TikTok, as I like to call it, because, I'm a veteran. And so I wanted to make drunken. All right, so that was my phone telling me I'm on low battery. So probably like another 10, 15 minutes, guys, because that was the 20% warning. So if I disappear, that means my phone has lost all battery. I started at 100. It's now getting low. And in the little tripod mount that I have, I can't get to the power port for this one. But the girlfriend convinced me to sign up and watch TikToks. And then I started joking around about being on Drunken Veteran TikTok that I was going to make cooking videos because I enjoy to cook. And I was going to make drunken TikTok videos. And let me see if I can get the power plugged in. I was going to make drunken veteran TikTok humor. And next thing I know, I'm talking about what I do for a living and countering violent extremists on TikTok. Battery back. Let's see if I can get it without it messing up the... Oh, it's that dark down here, dude. It is, the only light that I have on in here is this ring light. Let's see. Oh, and you guys are... Okay. I try to have... I'm going to switch the tripods that I have. Hold on. So I try to maintain this composure at all times. It doesn't always work that way. To be honest, it doesn't always. I do get angry. We joke, me and the girlfriend joke that you guys see calm and composed Celt when you're not seeing the part. You're not seeing the part of where I've watched the video, I've read the news article, and I've been pissed off before I came on here. It's a long time ago. You're not going to find that video now. You'll have to do some digging. But USMC Angry Veteran did a video called, and it was kind of titled, What It's Like to Be a Political TikToker. And it starts with him like in the bathroom, and you hear him screaming, "He said what?" And then his wife going, "Hey, honey, I need your help with this." And he's like, no, I gotta make a video. And he walks into his little filming area, and that's kind of what it is. You guys see very calm and composed Celt, but when in reality, there are times that I read a news article and it works me up. But usually, I take a few minutes. I think of how I'm going to do my video on it, if I'm going to do a video on it. I don't script any of my videos ahead of time. I'll run some scenarios in my head about what points I want to hit, and then I just start talking. But you see the composed part because you're seeing a 1-minute clip of something. So I do try to be, mindful of my emotions. And I do try to be composed and calm as best I can in real life. But, it's not going to happen. What's up, Serial? I know it's Serial Fun Seeker, but I always think Serial Killer. Every single time I read your name, dude. Love your stuff, though. sound still good now that I've switched everything around? Just making sure, because I'm still not using this beast. I definitely can't use it if I have to charge the phone. Cool. Thank you. I've noticed, I don't know why, there's like a difference between lives and videos. If I record the video without the microphone, I get a lot of people saying they have trouble hearing me. No, I don't go with that one. But when I record the video and I don't have the microphone in, and I even get it if I'm talking on the phone to people. People complain that my voice is just too soft. I can be loud, but I'm loud for a living. I don't want to be loud during my fun times or even my educational times. Because, like I said, I spend a lot of time being loud for a living. And in fact, after a while, it hurts like hell to yell. Like, it literally hurts my vocal cords at this point. Because when I was younger, there's a certain way to yell and not damage your vocal cords. Guess who didn't know how to do that? This guy. Yeah. Loud definitely does have a time and place. And in my TikToks, that's not it. It's not the time and place to be loud. So I'll probably do another, since I can get the battery pack in. I am getting tired. I'll do another about 30 minutes. 30 minutes-ish on here. So, like I said, any questions you guys have, feel free to ask. So Zen, I'm a humanter. It means human intelligence. It means I study violent extremism by talking to violent extremists. I study terrorism by talking to terrorists. That's what I do. So occasionally, depending on the circumstance, you end up getting loud. Sometimes not. Yeah, remarkably, sometimes the best way to get information is a cigarette and a cup of tea. Sometimes. Not always. Yes. Not just memes. So some of the new, like the alt-right has really perfected their meme game. When you start looking at, like, learning how to incorporate, how to incorporate their dog whistles into memes. And memes are a very effective method of communicating an idea. I mean, we all think of memes as funny little pictures on Facebook. But if you ever get a chance, read Richard Dawkins' God Delusion. And read the part that he talks about memes. Because this whole idea of a meme, I used to make this joke that how pissed does Richard Dawkins have to be to write an entire book talking about a repeating meme and it get boiled down to a picture on Facebook. Memes are just a way of spreading an idea. And yes, violent extremists have learned how to use memes as we think of them as a way of spreading their propaganda. Look at the disinformation on Facebook. How much of it is spread with a little picture that looks like an inspirational quote talking about COVID, conspiracy theories? Because the great thing about them for spreading this propaganda, and I say great thing is for the people spreading it, is all it takes is a click of a button and it replicates and it spreads. I mean, how many times have you shared an article and watched people comment and you can tell they have never clicked past the headline? That's the same concept of a meme. You take an attention grabbing meme and you can spread it and cause that interest in people. So did he just read, look at memes and become radicalized? No, but that's what drew him into that entire sphere where he could start to read and start to become more radicalized. The memes are the bait. Hope that answers it. And, well, one more thing with it. Everybody jokes that the right can't meme. There's Twitter pages called, like, the right can't meme. I hate to break it to you. As a person on the left can't fucking meme. At all. The right knows how to meme. We may think it's stupid. We may see that meme and goes, this is nonsensical, it makes no sense, it contradicts itself. But that is the meme. That is the point of that meme for them. We don't know how to spread our information the same way that they do. We can have all this factual information, and if it doesn't do anything, fortunately it is storming here, so I'm not going to be able to see the eclipse. But if you guys do want to run outside and see the eclipse, completely cool. I'm not going to be upset if you're leaving my life. Go see the eclipse. I'm not going to be able to see it. It's been cloudy all day. So lunar eclipses, you don't need the protection like you do with solar eclipses. You can bare eye look at lunar eclipses, and you'll be fine. I've seen quite a few of them. They're amazing. But it was storming, and before I started this, it was still fully clouded over. But going back to the memes, the right does know how to meme. We don't. And the left really needs to start learning how to meme. How do I deal with the stress of what I do for a living? I cook, and I bake, and I play Destiny 2. And I watch a few that I refer to as my comfort TV shows. Basically shows that I've watched so many times. Like, I fall asleep to Futurama. But yeah, like if I'm really feeling stressed out, I will just make something weird in the kitchen. Another is TikTok has actually helped a lot with the stress of what I do. One of the ways that I started helping with my own PC, yeah, that was completely the kids' idea about the smashing ice. They found that and drugged me outside and was like, hey, let's do this. And I was like, awesome. And they were like, do you want to make a video about it? Sure. But when I was going through like the really rough parts of my PTSD, I was also in college at the time, and I was taking a psychology class, and I had a really awesome professor who liked the fact that I was an older student. And when we started talking during some of his office hours, mentioning like PTSD and like my experiences with it, and he asked me to come, and I wasn't in abnormal psych at this point. I was still in introductory to get that out of the way. And he asked me if I'd be willing to speak to his abnormal class about psychology, about experiencing life with PTSD when they got to that subject part. And that actually helped a lot dealing with my own PTSD. Standing in front of a class and just talking. And I don't recommend it for everybody. It may work for you, it may not. See a therapist if you need one. Still no substitute for therapy. I was in therapy. And I even talked to my therapist about it. Like, hey, do you think it's a good idea? And their response was, well, what do you think? So I talked to the class, and I explained my PTSD. And that became a yearly thing until he retired. And then a sociology professor would ask me to come in and do it on Veterans Day. So one of the things I learned is sometimes talking about what the stuff that I'm dealing with. So like dealing with the violent extremists that I deal with outside of TikTok, coming on TikTok and being able to share this information actually is a really good way for me to de-stress from that. You know, reading about an attack and then studying it, and like I sat and I read the dude's entire manifesto from the Buffalo killing, and that's tiring. I haven't done videos on it yet, but being able to take that information and translate it to people has really helped me deal with the fact that this is what I deal with on a daily basis. And it's not my only job. To be honest, I've never been at a point where I don't work two jobs. But that's like my most stressful of the two. Especially with the girlfriend having health issues, I've had to take a second job. And that's why I've kind of dropped down to, within the last year, like the very beginning, I used to do a lot of videos in a day. You know, still only like 3 or 4, but to me that's a lot. Now it's down to like 1 a day if I'm not feeling sick or we don't have a lot going on. But there's always something to be said about being able to talk with someone, even if you're not talking to someone. Like, I know when I'm making the video, I'm not talking with you guys. But to me, it gets the same effect as like when you get to sit and talk with someone about stuff that's going on and bothering you. I'm just talking into the void, like literally the void. But I get to, it's almost like I get to talk with you guys. And that helps deal with things like that. And having, even though it's what I talk about, a lot of people don't consider it very creative. You know, I'm not making art. I'm not, you know, cooking and things like that, or making music like some creators. But this still gets to be a very creative outlet for me, because I get to use, you know, those creative parts of my brain of how do I explain this concept to someone who has no background in it. Oh, thank you for the roses. Hallucination. I love that username, that nice little play on it. But I still get to have a creative outlet, even while talking about violent extremism, racism, disinformation, propaganda. To have that. So, and something that a lot of people have asked about, like making these videos, is, to be honest, yeah, now I have a whole setup. Like I said, I keep showing off the mic that I bought. You guys saw me putting the other ring light up because that's got a tripod on it. Like, I plug the phone in and I got that. But if this is ever appealing to you, I started on a Galaxy J6 whatever, you know, it was like a $50 phone. If you go look at my old videos, they're crap, like the quality. I later got an iPhone, not even just because of TikTok, but because I needed to upgrade that phone. I couldn't even, it was getting hard to make calls.